I have my friend Jamie here today. I love that you're going by Jamie Heb because Heberline is just like a lot.
It's
Oh,
hard to say.
could I go by, and I do, I guess I sometimes go by Jill B instead of
Yeah,
Bartolome.
yeah.
Many people just said, "Oh my gosh, how did she say that again?" Because I've always wondered how to say that, and I always say it rhymes with salami. But Jamie and I were friends from we just discussed this 1992. So
Yes.
how many years is that? What is this? 26?
Can't
That's a
do the
lot of
math.
years. That's a lot
Can't
of
do the
years.
math.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So right out of high school, we became buddies at our sorority in college. And Jamie, I want you to start by telling everybody what you do. Actually, start with your history of how you became what you are today,
Where I
with your
am
extensive
today.
background in all your things,
All
please.
the things. Okay, thanks, Jill. So I've been an educator for about 30 years. So in the field of early childhood education, supporting families, supporting early learning programs, doing that on and off since I graduated college. And then in between that, I was also a consultant and a trainer for parenting education and for businesses, organizations. I worked at Nike in their corporate childcare when we had Nike childcare back in the day. I've been at the current community college. I'm the chair of the Child and Family Studies department. So I've been there going on 13 years now, I think 12, 13 years. And then most recently, in the last few years, I'm a certified well-being and leadership coach. So that's really where my focus is going, and that's what I love to do. And so it's taking everything, all my years of experience working with families and children and executives and humans, and putting all that together because we're humans, right? And so all that comes into play. And so now really focusing on this coaching work that I get to do.
That's awesome. And did you say, did I miss the part where you're like the chair? Did you already say that?
I just threw it in. Yeah, that's
You
my
did say
title.
that because I'm like, that's the one that I'm like, gosh, you're a chair. Like, are we really old enough to be having such big titles?
Yes, we're
And
all
and
grown up now.
you kind of like, dismissed it as it was no big deal to me earlier. And I was like, no, that's a big deal.
Oh,
That's so
thanks.
cool. That's just so
Yeah.
cool. I love that
Yeah,
you have
we have a great
experience
program.
with every age group.
Hmm.
You know, something we've talked about earlier, and we were talking about the word coaching just being so kind of so overused.
Yes.
It's sort of a lame word anymore. But another word in what I kind of am trying to do with my RT warrior moms, et cetera, is the word I often comes back to is energy.
Hmm.
Like I'm always just saying to people, like if you have good energy, you're better able to make the decisions that you're relying on discipline to make.
Hmm.
And if you feel good and you have good energy, it doesn't take so much dang discipline or motivation. It just can happen naturally. So I'm
Yeah.
always trying to get people to feel good and have good energy. And of course,
Hmm.
it's like which comes first, the chicken or the egg kind of thing. So you'll eat better if you feel good, but you'll feel better if
Hmm.
you eat good.
Right.
So tell us a little bit. I know you're into, you have special training in this energy something.
Yes, energy leadership. So my
Okay.
certification's around energy and around energy leadership coaching. And so what that is it's because we all kind of think of energy in a different way. And this is really about, the world's coming at us all the time. And so how do we respond to the world when we have stress or when we have days that we're not stressed or moments,
Yeah.
moments from 5 minutes
Moments.
to the next five
Yeah.
minutes, right? So what are our thoughts? What are our feelings? What are our behaviors? Are we listening to our intuition? And so that is all you put that in a ball, and that is really like energy about how we respond, how much energy we have, and is it more positive energy or negative energy? And how does that help us show up and respond to people and take care of ourselves and like lead ourselves? How are we leading others is based on this model that I use.
Hmm. And that is like in all the self-help books I've read, in all the classes I've taken, and all the podcasts I've listened to, they all talk about mindfulness. And so
Hmm.
being present enough
Hmm.
to recognize your energy before you react versus respond so that you can
Yeah,
respond instead of react kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
And it's after the words come out of my mouth that I think, oh, I wasn't in the right place
Bring that back.
when that
Bring
just
that
happened.
back. Yeah, yeah,
Can I rewind real quick?
yeah.
Yeah. So you help teach people basically how to be mindful of that, that sort of
Hmm.
energy all throughout the day.
Yes.
Can you,
So
yeah, go ahead.
let's say, well, coaching. And so just how I define coaching, so we're all in the same boat, because like you said, like there's a jillion coaches out there now. It's not therapy, it's not counseling, it's not that. And there's aspects of it because we sit down and we talk through whatever. And it's about what's holding you back, where do you feel stuck, where do you want to change, what are you thinking about going forward? And the reason why it's a coach is because I'm there to help coach you. Like I'm not on the field doing it for you, but I'm there to be that support for you. And so there's lots of things that can be holding us back. So we may need to go in reverse a little bit, like therapy, that all that goes in reverse. We don't diagnose, we're not hanging out back here, but it's information so we can use it to go forward. So coaching is very forward motion, strength based, like this support to help you get where you want to go and figure out why aren't you there yet?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that's another thing we talked about. So much of why we behave in the way we behave, or think the way we think, comes back to childhood experiences or beliefs
Hmm.
or something that's happened in the past.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so it's important to recognize it. And I love too that you've actually worked with that age group. You've seen it, you've been at that level. But that you're like not going, we're not going to go back there and coddle it. We're just going to go recognize what it is for what it is, and then okay, acknowledge it and move on. Like, let's go forward. I like your forward thinking
Yeah.
movement. So what can you teach us a little bit about the energies and this step
Hmm.
process that you have?
Hmm. Should I share my little
Sure,
handy outy thing? Okay.
sure.
So let me do that real quick. There. Okay. Do we see this?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's two types. So when I talk about energy, I talk about two types of energy. So the first one is called catabolic energy. And so with catabolic energy, cat actually is defined as a tearing down. So it's a breaking down of energy. So when we're in this kind of level or this mindset or state of this catabolic energy, we usually feel these things that are on the screen there. So we feel like we start at the bottom, though. It usually starts at the bottom and we move up. We have what's called like victim thinking and feeling. And so that's when we hear ourselves say, like, why is this happening to me again? Or I'm so stuck, I can't figure out how to get out of this. Or like, no one just understands me. Or this is being done to me. Or just like, oh, and we just spin and spiral and spiral and spiral. And it's really hard to get out of it.
Hmm.
Then, when we can actually move out of it a little bit, we have to get angry. And so, when we get angry or frustrated, then we actually start to get out of ourselves in this stuckness and we blame others. So we're like, you did this to me, and I know who did it to me, you did. Like we start to point fingers. And what happens though when we're angry, it's actually a motivator for us to take action. So we're going to like send that email and we're going to do that thing. And because it's like we're mad enough that it's going to give us some action. So there's good things that happen when we're in this catabolic state. And if we're in this all the time, like this is our go-to and we stay there, what this state does, it's actually our fight or flight. So our fight or flight kicks in and we kick in adrenaline and cortisol because we were given this amazing gift of adrenaline and cortisol to run from like the saber-toothed tiger, not just like, in our commute running day, going down the street. So what happens is when we have adrenaline cortisol in our bodies are so gracious to us that it says, you know what, I'm not going to deplete your body of any important fuel or energy because your muscles need all of that to run from the tiger. So I'm going to find fuel in your brain. So I'm going to find places and take energy from your brain. And so in children that have actually been in young children that have been in abusive states, they will do scans of their brains and they actually call them Swiss cheese brain because there are actual holes because the cortisol and the adrenaline, that's where it's taking its fuel. So we don't want to stay here very long. This is where we get high blood pressure and all those things. And we know like cortisol, and we know that doesn't do a good job. So this is that aspect of like catabolic energy. Okay.
Yikes.
Did you have
No, I was
questions,
just clearing
thoughts?
my throat. Sorry, but
Oh no.
it is. I mean, I can recognize myself in this 100
Hmm.
times. I can recognize my kids in this 100 times, and it's actually like a theme in our house that we are not victims, and you're giving your energy away when you're blaming other, when you're saying that it's all out of your control kind of thing. Easier said than done. But and I also can see myself on the tennis court, you know, like
Yes.
sometimes when I
The
finally get mad enough,
self-talk.
I actually start playing better because I'm finally just disgusted enough with myself.
You're going to do something about it.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
and that's it. This is, we all start here. Like we start here. This is automatic human nature. Like I have never met anyone that's just like, I'm going to start in like euphoria when I'm mad. Like, no,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
where we start. But it's how long do we stay here?
Right.
So do
Okay.
we say, oh, that person cut me off. I can't believe it. Well, I hope they have a better day than, I hope their day gets better and we just can move on. That's like 10 seconds of adrenaline cortisol and we go back down. But it's when we're here for a long time that actually can do some harm. And it's that self-talk, like, on the court, if you do that,
Mhm.
the self-talk, or at night when you can't sleep and you're just like going over and over and over and ruminating over that same thing, that's
Mhm.
actually putting this in your body, which actually puts your nervous system on high gear. And that can make it hard to sleep and to calm down and all those things. So when we're in this state, these first couple of levels, it's hard to get out of it. So, but we're
Okay.
all here, and it depends on the person, the situation, our sleep, our energy, our nutrition, all of that can determine how long we hang out here.
Okay. And in your work, you help people get out of here,
Yep, that's what we do.
basically. Yeah.
Well, and the first step's awareness, right? We need to even know that this thing exists.
Right.
And just the sheer fact of just sharing this with you and whomever else is watching, and when we go to the next slide, having this awareness will just automatically elevate your energy and elevate where you are because now you have an awareness of like, oh, I don't have to be stuck. I
Mhm.
actually have a choice to get mad about something. Like I have options. And
Mhm.
so just having this information will actually help bring you out of this catabolic more than if you were just sitting and spinning.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Love it.
All right,
Okay.
next one.
Yeah.
Okay. So, go next one. It's going, going. Come on. Okay, why is it now? Is it not going to the next slide? Ah, where did
It's
it
all
go?
good.
Okay, I may have, I don't know what's some other thing. Okay, let me stop sharing and share again. What the heck?
That's all right.
Okay,
Um, 100 years ago, when I did this with my friend Jenny,
yes.
and maybe you'll get to this eventually. Like there were different levels, and I think we talked about this a little bit. That my mom, was in this kind of aloof. It was a very elevated level, but I
Mm-hmm.
remember the word aloof was
Mm-hmm.
used.
Yes.
And aloof in my mind has never been like a positive. It's never been like a compliment to call somebody aloof.
Mm-hmm.
But in the description of this person that is just able to take life and smile at it as it passes on by, and not a fake smile, just a real like, oh, yep, that's what that is.
Yeah.
And that is my mother. Like she is so able to handle really bad news or really frustrating situations or people and just smile and wish them a good day and keep going.
Yep,
I'm always like,
exactly.
how do you do that? I want to learn that. So if you can
Okay, there
teach
we
us
go.
how to, oh, there we go.
Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go. Well, and exactly what you're talking about. So this comes from IPEC, the IPEC Institute where I was trained. And so exactly what you're talking about. There's these, we call them like the energy ladder. And so we start out in this catabolic state. And then there's only two stages there. And then we move to what's called anabolic state. So anabolic is a building up of energy. And when we are moving into anabolic, the cortisol and adrenaline go down. We are in like all systems are online because when we're in catabolic, we're offline, we're in survival mode.
Yeah.
And we want to be online, right? We want to all systems go. Like, we are all good, Captain. Like, all the
Yeah.
greases are good, right? Like, beam me up, Scotty. We're good to go. So, in this, if we start at the bottom, then this is what this starts to look like when we can move away from the victim and the anger. Like, we start to see positives in this situation. And we're like, oh, it'll all be okay. We'll make lemonade because we were given lemons. And, like we kind of justify, like, I can move past this. I can kind of get over and forgive that irritation because I want to move on. So
Mhm.
that's that next stage. Then after that, we start to maybe have compassion for the other person and for ourselves and give ourselves grace and not be so hard on ourselves at night when we're trying to sleep. And also maybe see the other person's perspective. And then we can start to look at what are opportunities instead of problems. And so if it's like, why is this being done to me? We can say, what's the opportunity? What am I supposed to learn from this? Like, what is this? What is the solution versus always in this problem state?
Mhm.
And then this next one is your mom. And so where she just like lives in this flow and see how everything is connected, feels this peacefulness. There's minimal judgment. We don't really see the good or the bad. And this is where some of that aloofness comes in of just like, we're all in this together and it's all going to be okay. And we're all collaborating together. And then our highest level is when we are just feeling our ultimate joy, creation. It's visionary. There's no good or bad or right or wrong. We have no judgment. It just kind of like we all here. It's very, it can be considered kind of woo-woo. But when we're in a state of creation, we are in our woo-woo because we're in our inner self. Like we're in our like who's our inner essence of this like creation and vision. So we can't all live at any of these levels, all the time because there's too many things coming at us. But the work that I do once we learn this together is we take different situations and help like say, okay, well, how do we move you up? Or what would it look like or feel like to be at this other level where you're in flow? Or, what is your vision for this? And so I help pull people up in their energy and then give them the tools where they then do it themselves and then share it with others. So
Yeah.
their kids, their partners, as leaders in corporations. I can stop sharing this now. In leaders in corporations, uh, the one of the biggest struggles I see is that it starts at the top, and so it rolls downhill, right? Like the poop emoji
You can
starts at the
say it.
top.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shit rolls
Shit
downhill.
rolls
It starts
downhill.
at the top. I did a poop emoji about this. And so, where there's like a little poop going down the hill and running into all the other little poops. And so, this is what happens in corporate anywhere, right? Like whoever's at the top sets the tone. So, if
Yeah.
the person at the top, whether you're the leader of your family or you're the leader of an organization, you set the tone. So, if you're in a catabolic state all the time, that's what everyone's going to feel and feed off of.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so good. I mean, and this is exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing is in this R2 Warrior Moms thing is just trying to
Yep.
teach us how to help ourselves so that we can turn
Yes.
around then and help our kids.
Exactly.
So good. The words, a couple word, well, a word that keeps coming up too in these last two phases is another word that I use a lot and I'm always trying for is acceptance.
Yes.
And it's a hard one for me because I see the importance of it, but I'm here because I don't want to accept things. I want to get better. I want to improve. I want to, like, even just bringing it back to the tennis court, I'm not happy with the level of play. So I
Hmm.
want it to get better. And so, do you have any stories of like clients that you've worked with or, it's examples you have of people that you've helped take them up
Hmm.
the ladder, so to speak?
Yes. Yeah, my most recent client that I have been able to work with, she's a regional trainer and support person for all over the place, Washington, California. I know because I'm over in Oregon. And and I've known her a long time, but when she came to me, she was really struggling with standing up to the boss and the boss's boss and kind of challenging the system because she's kind of in this middle manager place. And so when I first started talking with her, like because I can tell right away, like, okay, where are we hanging out? Which level are we hanging out?
By
And
conversation.
yeah, and she felt really helpless, which is that victim level where you just feel like I'm stuck. I don't have a voice. I don't have a choice. It's fear-based. Like I'm too scared to speak up. And so we really talked about where is this fear coming from? So that's why we have to go back a little bit to see
Yeah.
where's this limiting belief of like, well, I had this one bad conversation, so now all conversations are going to go bad. So we make those like rules of our life based on these couple of experiences that could have been when we were 10 or they could have been 5 years ago or whatever. So challenging some of that thinking and then helping her get mad. And so that's how we kind of move through the letter. And so I'm like, gosh, what makes you mad about this? So I kind of poke the bear a little bit because that's going to get them out of being stuck. So I poke her bear and she's like, well, it's just like how I've been treated is not fair. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's not. So let's go. So I get her fired up a little. And this goes, sometimes it's in one time together. But it's easy, it's hard to just be like, oh, okay, we did it once and now we're good. So it's this work and work and then challenging. And then being there as the support person, like she's going to send that hard email that she's terrified. And I read it for her and say, let me just, I said, just send me an email of like with no filter and pretend I'm your boss and just unload on me. Well, It was so professional. I was like, this is your most unprofessional email. I go, it's from your personal email, not your work email. Like, don't send it from work and just send it. So I was like, there's nothing wrong with this. You're just stating how you feel and how what's the work's being impacted and what you want for solutions. I was like, this is amazing. And so having someone also be objective
Yeah.
that's not in it to
Yeah.
give that feedback. And so giving her that support and feedback. So she worked through it and sent the email, scared to death, didn't sleep, so scared. And she came back and it all kind of worked out okay. And so through practice, she found her voice and found that confidence. And now she's just a completely different leader. I mean, her voice is strong. She just has no fear, and not like in a jerk way. She's just like has this confidence that she didn't have before because again, it's awareness, like opening your eyes to the bigger picture and acceptance of like your boss probably isn't going to change. So how can you adapt or get how change how you want things to be for you, knowing this is the constant over here. And so it's like problem solving, but really helping her figure that out. Like I'm not going to give her all the answers because I don't work there. I just can give her my observations and
Mhm.
give her some tools and kind of help read her of like, this is how it seems like you're coming across, or what are you thinking and feeling? And it was pretty amazing. And just, not even a couple of months that she's now looking for another job. She's posting things like she's just has this new confidence that she broke through from this
What a neat
like
gig.
helplessness, hopelessness state to just powerhouse. So it was
Yes.
awesome.
I love it. And imagine that example if for her kids, if she has any,
Oh,
just
she does.
to
Yes.
watch their mom go for that. So, I'm a big fan of therapy, but I've always said, I could talk about this so I'm blue in the face. It doesn't change me. And
Hmm.
so I love that you actually add action to the talk.
Yeah.
You're helping them talk through it, but then now here's
Hmm.
how we move forward.
Yep.
I love that. Another thing you said that struck me is, and I think about this in marriage. My husband always says this, that he has a saying, and I'm sure he heard it from somewhere else, but so I'm going to quote somebody that I don't know, but it's something along the lines of women get married or men get married hoping their wives will never change. And the wife
Hmm.
gets married hoping she can change the husband kind of thing. I'm butchering the saying,
Yeah, yeah.
this whole like, you, you, but you just said you can't change somebody else, but you can change how you're showing up, what you think about the situation, your actions, your behavior, all that, and that changes everything.
It changes everything. And it's really amazing witnessing. Like I've done group coaching with like a HR group in an organization. I had their entire HR group and we'd meet every other week and I had kind of a curriculum and going through and just watching how one person's change of behavior and feelings in that moment changes the entire group because we feed off of each other. And so this is exactly what happens at home. So for
Yes.
her, she's not carrying this vibration of just tense and unhappy and she's sleeping now where she wasn't sleeping before.
Yeah.
And so that, as you just said, like your whole care of yourself changes when you're in a state where you feel empowered and confident. And yeah, so, and then it trickles to your family because you elevate them just by modeling what you're doing. You're the leader at the organization. If you're in a more anabolic state, you're going to bring your organization to an anabolic state.
Right.
So, and it's little things. Like I mean, part of my mantra is like small shifts, huge, huge change.
Hmm.
Because it's just teensy little things that can make a huge difference of just having awareness and knowing of like, oh, this is how it is.
Right.
So it's pretty cool.
So, as a mother, and you're a mother of two grown now boys.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, for some reason, I keep coming back to the tennis, and I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of an example of something you could like, walk us through that would help everybody. And not everybody plays tennis, but I also have Nadia, who's about to go to zones. We're flying to
Hmm.
California in 2 weeks for her zones, big time,
Yep.
diving meet. And earlier this year, I watched her go to a meet that she literally had very little competition at. It didn't matter whether she was going to win or lose. It was just it was just like a way for her to get in a competition. It was not supposed to be a big deal.
Hmm.
Kind of just equal and same to my little stupid old lady tennis matches that I play. Like, no big deal.
But you're
And yet
amazing.
in
Yeah.
our heads, we make it into this
Yes.
big deal. And
Yes.
I watched her from the sidelines in horror just come unraveled. I mean,
Yeah.
she just oh my gosh, she just lost it. And I mean, I say that, but she was missing dives in the warm up, and then you could just see it get in her head. And ever since that meet, she lost her 2.5 off the 3 meter. She lost her double off the 1 meter. She lost her 1.5 back off the 1 meter. Like, she lost 3 dives that she had that just now are gone
Hmm.
because of that one bad experience.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so she didn't do them for months. And we went to the next meet, which again, she was the only competitor at this meet. This was her regional meet. And she actually was much less panicked. We had a lot of conversations around that, you determine your energy at this meet and your level of angst, and you're the boss. And you could tell
Yeah.
somebody that, but I've also been in a situation where I was trying to serve and I had no control over this arm. Like, I
Yeah.
had no control over this arm because my brain was just so in a frenzy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think there's a lot of moms out here that have like kids in sports, let's say.
Yes.
Maybe we can use that as an example
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
what, and I know too, just from my own experience here, is like modeling, like if I could speak to her out loud of what I'm going through and just let her watch my own. Because I tried to bring that up in our conversations. So it's like, I've had that happen on the tennis court where I've just
Hmm.
lost control of my body.
Hmm.
But any examples that you can
Yeah.
help us with this?
Yes, I can relate to the tennis. Yes, and having children where it's like you just want to be able to jump in their heads and fix it for them
Oh
because it's
yeah.
so you just hate seeing your children suffer. And so, yeah, I mean, same. Like, and I've done this with my tennis partner. And so when something doesn't go how we want it to go, or it's like someone gets a shot past us, we're like, oh, how did I let that happen? And so we get in this like it's done to me or I let it happen, and it's this woe is me
Yeah.
thinking. And
Uh-huh.
so kind of the like I will do this in the court and I'll be like, oh, woe is me. And so what we have to do the first thing is validate feelings. We
Yes.
have to say, oh, and this is Jamie talking to Jamie in my own little head. I know, but I'll just say like, oh gosh, okay, yep, it's totally understandable that you're upset and frustrated. It doesn't define you, but like I get it. And
Mhm.
then I'm like, okay, what are you mad about? And so then I say, well, get mad about this. Okay, well, I'm mad that, that this person keeps, I'm mad at that person. They keep getting that shot down the alley. And why am I, I get mad or I'm mad at myself. And then I'll say, okay, what's like, how could I forgive myself a little bit? Where's the grace? Well, Jamie, you didn't do it on purpose. Like, come on. You didn't try to miss that, not get the shot on purpose. So let's give myself a little bit of forgiveness and grace. And you had two other great shots. So like, let's focus on those. And then that compassion. And then I'd say, okay, what's the opportunity? Well, okay, I'm going to stand over here. I'm going to step back, or I'm going to poach next time. Like then it's like, what's the strategy that I could have learned from that situation? And then I'm like, you know what? We're all out here to have fun and play tennis. And this is flipping cool that at this age, I can play tennis competitively. Like, dang. And then just, I don't know if you can tell watching this, but just going through like my tone of voice, like I just feel it in my body. Like it just is
Ah,
like, okay. And now I'm going to be creative because I'm like, all right, we're going to do the total back to the loop-de-doop-de shot setup thing, and then you're like, I'm in it.
yeah.
So once you know this, that's how, but you have to kind of know these things. So sometimes we'll jump. I'd be like, okay, what's the opportunity? And we'll jump some steps, which is okay if you can jump those. But it's really kind of like getting yourself out of that is you have to get angry and then you have to look for that forgiveness, like self-grace, self-forgiveness. So as a mom, when your daughter's going through that, or any of our kiddos, it's validating their feelings to say, I can tell you were bummed out and felt like that did not go your way, and I totally get it. And like, what made you mad about that? Let them get mad, which is kind of opposite my raising. Like, anger was not accepted or a good thing. And so it was hard for me to say, like, anger is better than victim. Like, oh, that seems kind of scary.
I
But get
love
her
it. I mean,
mad.
The whole you've brought it up several times, and actually I have a note here. I have get mad written and underlined, and it cracks me up because I feel like I spend a lot of my time mad,
Hmm.
and I feel so guilty about it. And you're giving me permission. It's okay to be mad,
It's okay
and
to
I'm
be
like, what?
mad.
I'm not broken.
No,
I
you
love
have
this.
to be mad to move on.
No
Mad
wonder
is
I'm a woman of
action.
action.
Anger is action. It is. Now it's okay. No, it's what you do with it, right? So you want to
Right,
use it for good, not for evil.
right,
So
right,
use
right,
the anger for good.
right. Not to
But
beat my
it
children,
yeah, no, it
whatever.
projects you forward. It makes you like, I don't want to be this way anymore. I'm gonna do
Right.
something. So you're
Yeah.
in a match and you're mad. You're like, I'm gonna figure this out. Okay, and they're just out here doing their thing, but I'm gonna figure this out. So it's a motivator. So seeing it as a motivation, and then like, okay, what's the opportunity? There's no good and bad. This is just tennis. It's just a ball. It's just a shot.
Mhm.
Okay, where can I be in my creative self? Where can I listen to my intuition?
It's all
So,
about finding how to get your mindset in the right spot.
mhm,
I was on the tennis court. I'll never forget this with a girl she was a good friend of mine. We raised our kids together, and I'd never played a lot of tennis with her, but we were in a tiebreaker, and it was a big time. It was like to go to, maybe it was sectionals. I think it was sectionals or something. And this is when we were 3-5s, and we are in a tiebreaker, and we are down, and it is tense, and I am freaking out. And we go to do the crossover, and go get a drink or whatever, and she's just got this little smile on her face, and I look at her like, are you paying attention? Do you even know what's going on? I'm looking at her like, what? And she's got this little smile. She takes a drink. She goes, I love a challenge. This is awesome. And I was like, I mean, it makes my hair stand up right now. It gives me goosebumps because I mean, my legs even have, because that was such a different mindset than what I
mhm,
was bringing right then. Mine was
mhm.
of panic and like the whole world depends on this. And so in my own personal statement now, I have a sentence that I embrace challenges and win while elevating those around me. Like I embrace challenges
Yeah.
and win while elevating those around me. Like
Yep.
and so every once in a while when I'm out there, I'll speak that, to myself.
Hmm.
Another one I've tried recently, just from, did you ever read the book Radical Acceptance?
Yes.
So she says to just say yes.
Hmm.
Like when you're feeling something, instead of the
Hmm.
resisting this, like,
Hmm.
ugh,
Because that's your ego.
you just
Yeah.
built this wall. Yeah. And if you just whisper yes. And so
Hmm.
after I missed a serve once, I felt this like happened,
Yeah.
and I just, I remembered. And so I said yes. And I don't even remember if I made the second serve, but I just remember it really, truly like relaxing my whole body,
Hmm.
you know? I also know, did you ever read The Inner Game of Tennis?
No, I'm like the only one that hasn't, but
It's
no,
such a funny,
I
well,
know I need to.
it was recommended to me by Tim Ferriss, who doesn't even play tennis. Like he's just the 4 hour work week guy. And I was reading
Hmm.
reading his newsletter or podcast or something. Anyway, he said to read this book, and I was like, well, I actually play tennis, so I will really like this. And it starts off by saying, when you're out there yelling at yourself on the tennis court, who are you? Are you the one doing the yelling, or are you the one getting yelled at?
Hmm.
And I was like, oh. And so he just goes on to describe that the yeller is your ego, trying
Yep.
to boss and control the whole situation. And the person receiving the yelling is the physical self who actually knows how to play this game if you would just shut up.
Yeah.
If the ego would just quit bossing,
Yes.
that's how flow happens. Is if we
Yes.
can shut down the ego
Hmm.
and let the body just do what it knows how to do, which is kind of what you're teaching here, right?
Exactly. We actually, yeah, some of the work that we do, our ego, we actually call a gremlin. And we work to design our own little gremlin and give them a name because, how this gremlin looks like, because the gremlin is there to actually try to protect us because our ego likes things to be the same.
Status
And our
quo.
ego doesn't know if it's a good same or a bad same. It's just same. And so change is uncomfortable to the ego, even if it's for good or how we define good.
Right.
So that's why a lot of times, like you think of people that are in like abuse cycles or things like that. It's not that they're doing it on purpose. It's literally because it's comfortable. It's all they know,
Yeah.
even though they know it's not good for them. Their ego says, no, but this is scary because it's like, the devil you know is better than the
Yeah.
devil you don't. It's
Yeah.
that same idea.
That's
And
interesting.
so the concept I want to share with you is the idea of true versus truth.
Mm.
And this is a great one. I was just thinking for your daughter too. This is a great one to challenge anytime we have an assumption or an interpret, like we're interpreting something a certain way. So a limiting belief is like, you know, women cannot run, or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
crazy dumb.
yeah.
And then I'm like, well, is that true that all women can't run, or is it true that I have a hurt ankle and I can't run? And so what is true means it's a fact and it can't be argued. Everyone would agree with you. Truth is our own story.
Hmm.
And it's our own ego and it's our experience and our stories. And so when we get down on ourselves and think like, oh, this is never, I can never do this, or we're in these absolutes, say, is that true? Or is that just my truth right now?
Hmm. Yeah,
Because that's
that's
how it
the
also challenges the ego.
yeah, that's the start of Byron Katie's work, which is
Mhm.
a big.
Mhm.
Just to capitalize on that for a moment. Years ago, Nadia had a coach that she was not driving with in gymnastics, and she was telling herself that that coach was even trying to hurt her. And I sat her down at the table and I had her write this out. The coach is trying to hurt me. And is it true? Yep. Of course it is. No. And then we wrote out, okay, well, what are the other Byron Katie's work is like, what would you be without that belief? Like if
Mhm.
that belief wasn't true, who would you be, kind of thing. But with her, we wrote the sentence in all the different ways, like, I am trying to hurt the coach, or the coach is not trying to hurt me, or you just sort of write the sentence in all the different ways you could write it. And I did not feel like she was really taking this exercise seriously. Like she kind of just wanted to go play, and I didn't feel like we were getting anywhere with it. And so I finally just
Mhm.
said, give me the paper and go play. I just gave up on it. But 2 days later, she's sitting in the bathtub after practice and she just randomly says to me, Mom, I was looking at coach today and I just said, she's not trying to hurt me. Like
Mm.
it still gives me goosebumps, makes me
That
want to
me
cry.
too. I just got goosebumps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the things that we tell ourselves don't always sink in at the moment,
Right.
especially, and that was the important thing, is when I sat her down, she wasn't heated about this, like you'll never get through in that moment,
Mm-mm.
you know? So, but anyway, so challenging those beliefs in any ways that we can come up with, and
Yes.
especially when they're calm, would
Hmm.
be helpful. And so we've
Hmm.
had, a few conversations like that in the car
That's so good.
to and from practices, like what is it about the back 1.5, like, okay, so if you back smack, if you slap the water hard with your back, which she's done many times, it does hurt,
Yeah.
but you're like famous for Allie had a conversation with her the other night, like you're kind of famous for like splatting, breaking a rib and climbing back up there and doing it again, it's just kind of, you don't have
Yeah.
to be that person, but that's
No.
kind of who you are, like so
Yeah.
far that's kind of been who you are.
Right.
And we're not encouraging you to go, like, the whole reason we got her into diving was it was safer than jumping from building to building, which is where she was
Oh,
heading
the
in parkour,
parkour. Yeah. Yeah.
and so if at least we'll hit water instead. But anyway, so all these conversations will be helpful. But I personally am taking from this, I mean, that catabolic thing, the victim anger. I love that you're saying too, like it's not a bad thing to be there. They all have their
Mm-mm.
benefits.
Yes.
Don't be
Yes.
piling on the poo,
Yeah.
feeling bad about the fact that you're there, giving yourself some grace and compassion or whatever to move. Go ahead and hit
Yeah.
anger, Jill. I love that you gave me permission to be angry.
Anytime.
And
Well, and what's crazy too to me is like it gets like you can be anabolically angry because you can say, what do I need right now? I actually need to be angry. So you're coming from a positive place because this is what you haven't processed yet. So just because you're angry doesn't necessarily mean you're catabolic. You're like, I need to actually, or sometimes we do like sad things happen, or we need to feel sad and feel and question and feel bad for ourselves. Like we just have to. We just have to process it. But like, I'm going to give myself 20 minutes to sit over there and just feel all the feels and feel like crap and feel sorry for myself. Like, that's an anabolic choice
yeah, that's a good point.
versus fighting it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
okay. Like, they all have a purpose.
That's a validating your own feelings kind of moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
a good point.
Yeah.
And if we can find ways to do that out loud in front of our children,
Hmm.
right there, that
Hmm.
even I just said that in a newsletter recently. I was like, imagine if you could just say, "Oh, I am upset right now. I'm going to take a minute before I
Yep.
respond," or just to be able to say out loud what you're going
Yes,
through.
and modeling and not necessarily, something you're upset about them, but something, like
Yes.
traffic or this or
Yes.
that or this thing happened and oh my gosh, I was so this happened. And then I got so mad. And then I realized, huh. And then I was like, what's the opportunity? You could just
Yes.
literally whatever's in your head, just out how you process, because you're modeling for them how you're processing out of things
Yeah.
about a it's a tangible thing that doesn't have to do with them.
So your key words have been like awareness, and
Yes.
then you move into like it's something like where is it straight to or not straight to, but then I heard the word compassion and then opportunity. Am I missing something? Like
Yeah, we go from like victim to anger to then this like, well, what could be the
so
positive? It's
so
like you're
awareness
trying
is the
to,
first step.
the victim's the first step,
Oh, victim. Okay, but
then
being aware of
anger,
this whole thing is just
just awareness.
yeah. I just feel like that is you were right that that is a good just by you teaching us this this is helpful.
And you don't even need to know the levels per se, just know like victim and anger are more that catabolic, and then just trying to move towards solution or forgiveness or compassion. Those are our more anabolic. And
Okay.
compassion for yourself is
Yes.
when we tend to miss because
Skip that.
we'll give grace to others, but we don't give grace to ourselves. And
Right.
that can hold us back.
Right. Okay, so victim, anger, see the positive, compassion for them or me,
Hmm.
see the opportunity,
Opportunities,
and then you hit flow and
flow.
eventually joy and creation.
Yes, yes. And
Okay. All right.
intuition's a big one with that flow. When we're in that higher levels, we're listening to our gut, because our gut's always right. And
And we
whether
have no
it's,
judgment there.
and
Yeah.
we're just like, it is, we're listening to that intuition. Like the most powerful, influential people in the world, they listen to their intuition more
Yeah.
than they listen to their logic.
That's
So,
interesting.
because we need to do all three.
Yeah.
We need our logic, we need our feelings, we need our intuition.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we need to use all three. It's called holistic decision making
Oh,
to make our decisions. Don't just rely on one.
right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so if somebody was going to work with you or hire you, do they hire you for like a session or 12 or like how does it work?
So it's individualized, but ideally, yeah, 12 sessions are great. So every other week, because it takes, a couple of months, 2 to 3 months ideally, because this is a new habit. It's a
Mhm.
new way of thinking and stepping back to have that awareness. And so when people work with me, we'll meet for 45 minutes to an hour every other week, but then we're in text contact too. So
Oh,
that's what's also what I love is different than like counseling or therapy. You just leave and you're like, okay, well, this thing came up and what do I do?
yeah.
And so
I need
I'm,
Jamie.
I know, I'm like, or you're so proud you want to share something awesome, right?
Oh,
So,
good.
so yeah, so I'm there, like I'm there. I'm the scaffolding to be there behind the scenes to help, hold you up and keep you going. Or when you like need to break down, I'm like, yeah, I'm here. So
Oh,
I can be that safe place. So it's not your unloading to your partner again about, your husband or this, or like, oh, this happened. It's like they can unload to me. And then I can help give that objective,
hmm.
and we'll go into story for a little bit and then I'm like, okay, what's your next step? Moving you on.
Ah,
So yeah, so those like 12 sessions and obviously, I mean, via Zoom, but then also available for text. And then there's usually an assessment that I have you do at the beginning that actually is all this stuff. So it's a questionnaire and it will go in and talk, it will show a graph of what's your go-to right now, like which of these energy ladder aspects is kind of your go-to and you're hanging out there for a long time.
yeah.
And then that gives us really good baseline information.
Yeah. I should do that again because I did that so many
Yeah.
years ago with Jenny. And I remember being disappointed in my result. And of course she was telling me, no, 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 no,
Yep.
this is not to be disappointed in.
Because we all catabolic, we're all down here. This is where we all start, but we're like,
Yeah.
oh, that bar graph's too big and it makes
Yeah.
us,
I
then we're
wanted to
just hanging
be,
out there.
yeah, I wanted to be higher up on the ladder, of course,
I
the
know.
competitive
We
me,
all
but
do.
my
Yeah,
ego wanted to be. But I'd be curious to see if I've changed since then. It was
I'm
quite a few years
sure.
ago. But
I'm sure you have.
okay, do you have a website?
I do.
What is the name of
Yes,
that?
it
We'll
is
put it in the notes.
lifefulfilled.com.
Perfect.
So life-fulfilled.com and Jamie at lifefulfilled.com. And yeah, you can feel free to share my info.
Yeah, you
Email
got
and the
Instagram
website
and
has a lot of information just about different topics. I even have a parenting section on there with different kinds of resources and things that I've used over the
yeah.
years.
Oh
And
yeah, I remember that.
yeah, because I do a lot of training and public speaking and corporate work and stuff too. So just
Fun.
whatever the vibe is where I need to go,
Yeah,
I will go. So
I love
but I
it.
would love to, yeah, hear from anyone or talk to anyone. And there's always a free 30-minute consultation just to talk and chat and to be like, is this something I'd want to do or
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
Well, thank you, friend. This was
Yes, friend.
wonderful.
So thank you for thinking of me.
it went toward the sports psychology realm, but it's
Mhm.
all stuff that helps with everything,
It's
like
with everything.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
what we do in one aspect of our lives, we do in the other. It just may be tweaked a little bit. But
So true.
that's why I work with people like it's usually, if it's for their work life, it trickles over into their personal life and then
Mhm.
vice versa. So,
Now that you say that, like Nadia doesn't struggle with much. Like she's just super athletic, super smart academically, whatever. But when like we were asking a teacher years ago to push her a little bit because she was kind of bored in school, and she goes, and the teacher was like, "Well, I'd like to, but anytime she doesn't get something on the first try, she freaking loses her shit,
mm,
you know."
hmm
And we were like, "Yep, totally have seen that. We get
hmm
what you're saying." And as a
hmm
teacher, she didn't have time to deal with that, so she didn't want to push her, you know. So we had to work, and it's kind of the same thing with diving. Now she was just learning a new dive every day, just throwing out a new one, and then all of a sudden she hit this wall. And so it is true that what happens in sport is a lot, which is
It
why
is.
I am so adamant that they are in sports, because you learn so much about yourself
Hmm
in sports that you cannot learn in a book. It's
Yeah.
just, to me, a huge opportunity. So,
Yeah. In coaching, we talk about performance versus mastery. And that's it. Because like
mm,
performance is like I'm performing and why am I performing? It's like we want this outcome of performance versus mastering something that brings us joy.
yeah,
And it challenges us to our level, but it's without that performing, which is
right,
an external pressure.
right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good
hmm
point. I
Yeah.
should make her watch this whole thing. She'd probably be
She's like,
like, "Why are
Mom,
you telling
you
everybody
talk
my
about
business?"
me. Yeah,
I
you're
know.
talking about me.
Well, thank you, honey. This was wonderful. You are a
So good
gem.
to see. Thank you. Yep, I love what I do, so
It's
it's good
obvious,
stuff.
and you're good at it. So that's great.
Thank you.